All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we interview Mayor Craig Thurmond about how a local elected official, a.k.a. a mayor, can really make an economy thrive or can really make an economy barely survive. So you see, Mayor Craig Thurmond is one of the only mayors in America, one of the first mayors in America, who was in favor of reopening his local city. And it turns out if your business is forced to be shut, it will be shut. But if your business can be open for business, then the market can determine who wins and loses. It's called capitalism. Some mayors should check it out. And now, without any further ado, our interview with Mayor Craig Thurmond. Factory direct to you because we eliminate the middleman.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrive Time Show.
Now, 3, 2, 1, here we go!
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here.
Yes, and yes!
Oh, yes!
Dr. Z, it is always ecstasy when you are next to me, my friend. How are you doing?
I love when you say that about me.
How are you doing? Are you doing? Are you doing
if
well
I was any
over there?
better, I'd be twins.
What does that What does that phrase actually mean? I want
What
to get
does it
into
mean to you when you hear that?
I want to answer the deeper questions. What does that phrase mean?
That means that
I
I
were
am
any
doing
better,
so well. If I was
I would
doing
be-
better, I'd have to birth another one of me to hold all the excitement and
Is that what that
energy
means?
and wonderfulness that is my life.
Is that what it means? Seriously,
I'm going with that.
I've
I'm-
never
I'm-
really
I'm sticking.
understood what that phrase meant.
And that's part of the fun of it. It's like that riddle you never get. You always think,
could you say,
I
like,
wonder
next
what
time
that-
maybe I ask you, say, how are you? And you could say, if I were doing any better, I would be a mime.
I'd be triplets.
Triplets.
A mime with a white face and a fake rope around the room. I could do that.
Mayor Craig Thurmond, how are you, sir?
I'm great. Great.
Do you have any phrase like that you tend to use? Like, if I was any better, I would be. Do you have that kind of thing?
No, I don't, but I probably should adopt that. That's really a good phrase.
Well, sir,
It's not a bad one, isn't it?
It is good.
You could say if I was doing any better, I'd be in the Rose District, right? Having
That's
a fine
true, yeah.
meal and
Yes.
Well, let me
with my friends.
It's always important that we start every day with an attitude of gratitude. And I have
Yes.
3 things I'm grateful for about
Just 3?
About living in Broken Arrow. Well, I have thousands, probably, maybe even
Oh,
millions.
wow.
But I have 3
Okay.
that are top of mind today. One is I love that we have a Bass Pro Shop. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard that Mayor Craig Thurmond, you helped bring the Bass Pro Shop to Broken Arrow. Is that
Kind of a
is
big
that true,
deal.
sir?
That's
Big deal.
true. That's
Big
very
deal.
true.
What was your role in bringing the Bass Pro Shop to Broken Arrow?
We had lots of meetings when we met with the owner quite a bit and trying to get that to happen. It was and the staff really wasn't supportive at first, and so we had to convince them it was a good thing for Broken Arrow, and it was well worth the money we had to spend, and it was.
What, did any of those meetings go like this? I want to tell you guys, this Bass Pro Shop thing's a big deal. You need to adopt this quickly. Or we're going to have a situation. We don't want a situation.
You don't want me to have to get snakes in.
I don't want to put a dead fish in your bed, if you know what I mean.
to have to get up the lead pipes.
I mean,
I said, May, I like to work.
I'm a nice guy.
Don't make me get out snakes.
Don't make me. Did any of the meetings were any of the meetings like that?
No, they really weren't. They were a little
Okay, I
different.
wasn't
than that,
sure.
but
I
yes.
wasn't there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I figured they might have been.
Yeah, they were just a little different.
See, they were
okay.
civil?
All right. All
What
right.
did Broken Arrow do to woo the Bass Pro Shop?
Well, we actually built the building,
Okay.
and got a loan and built that building, and so we now own the building, and then we run a road by Bass Pro because originally there wasn't a road by Bass Pro; it just dead end at Elm. So we spent about $8 million in infrastructure and road to run a road. 61st or Hillside Drive now is actually a road that was done with funding, and so we've paid that off. We've almost paid off the loan for the building too, so it's really been.
That was the question I had for you. So, I mean, this is, the government kind of coming in and partnering with business or private sector,
Right.
and some, really ultra right wing say that's never should happen, and left wing are like, well, it should just all be government.
Right.
So you
I'm on the
partnered-
far right, by the way. I'm the far libertarian. So you're
right.
arguing
I
with
know
me
you
here
are.
today. Okay,
So
that's fine.
you're how long before your investment pays off and then becomes a positive for your community?
Far right.
We've got about 5 more years, and
Right.
and that building will be paid off, and then Bass Pro will have to either renegotiate their lease, they'll have to buy the building at the market rate, or else they'll move. And I believe they'll probably just renegotiate the lease, and it'll be at a higher rate, and we'll get more money.
I'm going to
So-
give Mayor Craig
Right.
Thurmond a mega point for this one. That's 1 point. It's been proven it worked out well.
It did work out well.
Second thing I'm very grateful for, as it relates to Broken Arrow and you specifically, is downtown Broken Arrow. Right now we live in a state where it's kind of controversial to be open. I mean, some places are not as open. It's great. I can go down to downtown Broken Arrow. There's
Oh, yeah.
thriving businesses, restaurants, great places like the Hub Gym are open. It's a great place to be. What was your role in helping to develop the Rose District, or did you have a role in helping to develop the Rose District?
I did have a role. We started in 2004 actually with our downtown master plan, and then we came up with the Rose District concept, and I was very involved in that, and I think it's very important that we continue that on. And getting open was very, very important too. To get our city open was extremely important. We did get a lot of pushback on that, but we thought it was the right thing to do, so we did open.
Okay.
Now, wait a second. Why did you think it was the right thing to do when there's so many other mayors, i.e. governors, around our great country that don't think that way? What did you know, or what did you believe that led you to say, you know what, we need to get this thing cranked back up again and get it back open again and do our thing? What was it that tipped the scale for you, Mayor?
Well, I think it was just looking at the data. We looked at the data every single day to see where we were at in our state, and we need to look at that. The state health department puts out data every day. Our hospitalizations, even in early May, even though we just had opened, we were still over 300 hospitalizations, but they started dropping. Now we're below 200, but hospitalizations are really what you look at to see how sick people really are, and so that's a lot of the data that we looked at, but it was all data based.
Right. And we know it's a bad virus. We know it's a bad flu bug. We know people get sick. And I guess the data that's now kind of coming in, that's going to, a lot of people kind of scratching their head are going, the death rate is really not that much significantly different than other flu bugs that we've had. Have you looked at that much in your community and around?
Well, I think unfortunately, a lot of the people that pass away are older.
Right.
We look at around 18% of our population that has been tested positive or has got the infection is 65 and older, but over 80% of the people that have passed away are 65 and older.
Right.
And in our community, out of we've got now 12 deaths. I'm not sure what the 12th one was, but when we had 11 deaths, 9 of those were in nursing homes. So it's real important that we look at the data and who really gets sick and who passes away. And unfortunately, it is the elderly.
Right, and the flu bug. I mean, last year the flu took 80,000 people from our country, and that's horrible. But I mean, we're all. I don't want this to be. Can I get a this just in?
This just in from our home office off the coast of Broken Arrow.
I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but
Nope.
we get old and we die.
Now get out of here.
What?
are you talking about?
What?
That's not proven.
Oh, it's not?
We have no proof that everyone will die until everyone is dead.
Oh, that's true.
So right now we were just saying that the people who've all
you're right.
came before us have
Yeah,
died.
there's 7
A lot of
billion people
speculation.
that will refute that
You
right
are
now
speculating.
in the world. You're
Speculating.
right.
There's no proof.
You're right. You're
It's
right.
just-
I
You
stand.
can't look to the past to predict the future.
you're so
You
correct.
can't look at history.
But the idea that
Okay.
these places are shutting everything down,
Shut her down.
and we know we're seeing what happens with that. Domestic abuse goes up, alcoholism goes
Bad
up,
haircuts go
suicide
up.
goes up, the lack of haircuts go up,
Lack
which
of
is in
lack
turn a
of
bad
training at a
haircut.
gym goes up.
So I guess my point is that I applaud you for actually looking at the data, understanding what's going on, and opening up your city and being a front runner in that. And even if you had a spike in cases are one thing. I mean, I remember some years past when it seemed like everybody I knew had a bad flu, a bad cold. I mean, they had the cold. It's like, what's wrong with you? Well, I got a cold. I went to the doctor and he said, drink water and get rest and you'll get through it, right? And I'm not saying that this is like a normal year, but what I'm saying is it's not the killer that people are making it out to be.
Okay, I have a question for you, Zeke, real quick.
What's
here.
this?
How many employees work with the optometry clinic, roughly?
Less than 100, more than 70, 80, somewhere in there probably.
How, if your business was closed and you weren't allowed to see patients,
Mm-hmm.
would you eventually run out of money?
Is this a serious question?
Well, my theory.
I mean,
My theory. This is a theory that Mayor Craig. He's on the cutting edge of this theory as well. Is that if your business is closed, it can't be open. Do you?
That's right.
Do you? I mean,
is this like the question if you fell
I'm
off
just no, because this is what's crazy. I got interviewed by a gentleman on Channel 8, and he asked me these words. He says, "If Clay, how do you think your business will do with?" No, he says, "How will your business be impacted by the shutdown?" That was the question he asked me.
Oh yeah, stupid question.
And I said, "Well, if we're shut, we won't be open."
And if we're not open, we're not making the monies.
Oh! So anyway, and I just want to bring up one more thing, and I want to focus on all this gratitude. I have so much gratitude in my heart. I got to get it out there. Okay.
Okay.
Is the gentleman who initially predicted that 2.2 million Americans would die.
Uh-oh.
His name
There
was
we
Neil
go.
Ferguson.
Now you're just
No,
going
look,
into
look.
facts. Stop
In
it.
2005, he also predicted that 200 million Americans would die from the bird flu. Now, this Justin, he was a little bit off. He said 200 million people would die. The same man was a little bit off. 2005, when he predicted 200 million Americans would die. 200 million people in the world would die. 200 million people in the world would die
Yes.
from the bird flu. It turns out
It's going to be our whole country, by the way.
282 people died.
He
from
just
the
had a
bird
couple zeros.
He's a little bit off.
It's a little bit off.
Now, the third reason I have gratefulness in my heart today about I'm an abundance of gratefulness is that we have a mayor who actually engages with business owners, actually listens to them, is responsive to them, makes sure that the city treats the citizens as though they are customers, and I appreciate that because there are cities that don't operate that way. Mayor Craig, before we bring on some guests who are going to interrogate you about all things Broken Arrow, is that intentional? Is that something that you have focused on, making sure that the level of customer service is there to treat our citizens well? Because some cities, you never get a call back, and things take forever to get approved. And I found in Broken Arrow, it's become very business-friendly from what I have seen, my personal interactions.
It's good stuff.
Is this an intentional thing,
Yeah,
sir?
that's true. That's very intentional. You've got to treat your citizens like customers because they are customers. They're the taxpayers that keep you going. So it's very important that you treat businesses and citizens like customers because that's what they are.
Mayor, Clay and I were talking about this before the show, and we were thinking about.
We were thinking.
I mean, thinking about the hypothesis, the
Dreaming.
kind of
Vision
whiteboarding,
casting. Brainstorming.
a brand new country, like carving out a couple of
Like 6 blocks. 6 blocks. We want to
Maybe not
carve
even
out.
6. That's aggressive. Maybe 3 or 4.
Maybe call it CHOP. New
Yeah,
company,
we were thinking about call it chop.
Or maybe I like Chaz because it has a Z in it.
Now, what we were
I'm
going to
not
do,
gonna
let
lie.
me tell you the 4 steps we were going to take.
Yes.
Step 1, we would
One.
want to defund our police.
Yes, because
Step 2, we want to then give
Put up a wall.
weapon. We would put up a wall made of various things to keep people out of our 6-block area.
Right.
Then we want to give assault rifles to all of the people who are in
Yes.
the new chop zone.
Yes.
And then,
Chaz.
Then
Let's
we
go with
want,
the old one.
and then we want to see what happens. Do you
Can we come
do
into
that?
your
Can we do
community
that?
and
Is that
just take
something-
over some blocks and
Just to try it out?
and
Is that
just,
something
and
we
just do
can-
that?
I don't think our police would allow that to happen. Neither would we.
What
but,
would you do as a mayor of your city if some hoodlums came in and said, you know what, this is our space now. We're gonna block it off and be autonomous and communism,
Pass
and
out rifles?
socialism, and pass out rifles and just have our own little
would you
play
be
day.
okay with that?
What would
I
you
would
do?
not be okay with it. And I think our special operations team of
Ooh.
the PD would
Wow.
dispatch them very quickly.
Wow.
And, we wouldn't allow that to
You
happen.
wouldn't allow that to happen.
No.
And
There are
why
some-
is that?
Well, why? It's controversial.
It's very controversial.
Well, we believe in law and order in Broken Arrow.
Wow.
And that's what the citizens want, and that's what we do.
So you're saying if I'm a business owner within your community, within your city, and I open a business with my blood, sweat, and tears, and I put out my little shingle and I say, come in, I'm going to offer a service, a product. It could be donuts. It could be car wash. It could be something.
It could be a fitness
You're going
gym.
to you're going to protect me about people coming in trying to bust my windows and taking all my stuff, trying to set up their own little world around my business?
Controversial.
I mean, you're going to protect me?
Yes, and I think we showed that when we did have protesters here. We had a lot of PD
You guys did a
out
great
trying to
job with
protect
that.
people. So I think it's very important.
If we
that,
were closer, I'd give you a hug right now.
You did a great job with that. Now, I want to ask you this. Are there any mayors in Oklahoma that are talking about defunding their police as we speak?
I have not heard anyone say that. And,
Okay.
I've gotten a couple emails on that, and I've written them back and tell them if the only change in funding in our PD would be an increase in funding.
Oof. Wow.
So, Luke, every time that you email the mayor and ask for him to defund the police, just know that he's not gonna say yes. When you and I keep emailing him, you and I have started like an email
chain.
Chain. And we've I can't, Luke hasn't participated in it, okay? But I've been the
He's
one. I'm going.
passive-aggressive.
Look, Mayor, it's worked so well in Seattle. Let's try it here. If you join the email chain, so far I'm the only person emailing. But if you email him, he's not going to say yes. I just want to shut you down.
Well, I won't be joining that email campaign. Sorry.
I kind of feel bad because it's not going so well so far in Seattle.
It's not working so well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully the listeners out there
So
understand the
Luke,
sarcasm.
the Hub Gym in Broken Arrow,
Yeah.
how's it going? Are you open for business? What's going on? Because these gyms are kind of, no one's working out. Everybody's got the corona weight on them.
Yeah, we are back open. Thank you to our mayor and our city. So yes, we are back open. We finished our renovations over the shutdown. We did realize about 400 to 500 member drop over that time, but we're coming back, so happy to be open.
Now,
So your renovations, what do they include? You put a
bubble for everyone to hop inside to work out?
You put a
bubble
what'd
workouts?
What'd you do in there? You have a sauna now and a.
So as we've grown over the years, space has been an issue, and so we kind of reinvented the space to create more floor space. We redid our bathrooms. Being a 24-hour facility for as long as we have been, some things needed some updating, so we were able to do that.
So you're saying if I join Hub Gym, I can come in like 3 a.m. to get my workout on?
Absolutely, we're a 24-hour facility.
Do you have like a hot tub in there? I can just come hot
we
tub
do
it.
not have hot tubs.
You have
or
like a
pools.
sauna.
Can he bring his own hot tub? One of those classy,
I like to steam it
inflatable
out
hot tubs.
sometimes. Sometimes. Do you have like a juice bar and like I can come in and get like a juice or something?
We do have refreshments
you do.
in the pro shop and an IR sauna, actually. At the time, we only had, I think we were the second business in Oklahoma to
what?
have that. Infrared sauna.
What is
it's
that?
indirect heat.
What does that mean? Is it just not direct? You can't feel it? It's like
passive aggressive
It's a
heat.
passive
You can feel it, but it's not about just getting in there and sweating.
So what do? You just get hot and you don't sweat? That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and the infrared actually penetrates down to a cellular level, which enacts some healing. So.
Wow. So you're saying I can come in at 3 a.m, get healed, and get a slushy?
But you can't bring in your above ground inflatable hot tub. You're
can't?
not allowed to do that. That's in the rules.
Really?
I think the mayor's banned that from the city.
Oh my gosh.
Mayor, what's your thoughts on bringing in above ground hot tubs into businesses that you do not own? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think that we would support that. But again, that's up to the business owner. They have the right to do what they want. with their
Controversial
business.
idea. You let
controversial.
people decide. Okay.
I mean,
Now we have a couple guests are joining here with us. We have a lady by the name of Bree, and I'm going to give Bree the microphone because Bree, she is in Broken Arrow too. And Bree, welcome onto the Thrive Time Show. How are you, ma'am?
Hi, I feel a little short.
Oh, and Luke, can you adjust that forward just a little bit there? Just
point
he's
it down
kind of
there.
going to
get right up on there, Bree.
Yeah, there you go.
Act like you like it.
So,
There you go.
Bree,
Get right up there.
tell us what do you do? What is your what kind of occupation do you have?
I am also an entrepreneur. I own a business in the Rose District called 1907. It's a made in Oklahoma store. We also had to shut down, so I used the same time to renovate. We moved, so we're now down by the railroad tracks in a building I own. So take that, tyranny of renting.
Unbelievable. So you now have your own building.
Wow.
And what kind of accoutrements can we purchase in your store?
A little bit of everything, but it's got a real Oklahoma feel. We make shirts, soap, lasered stuff, wood things, and then we have kind of our own little farmer's market of jellies and salsas and barbecue sauce and all that jazz.
Do you make wood soap by any chance?
Wood soap?
Is that a thing? I don't even know. Is that a thing?
I make a soap with cedar wood in it.
Okay, that's close. Now,
that's
since you're
close.
your own landlord, do you argue with yourself all the time? I want a new bathroom. No, you don't get it. I want a new paint the walls. No, you don't get it. I mean, is that how you do every day?
I mean, there's a little bit of that. I'm not gonna lie,
Because you are your own landlord now.
somebody's got to yell at me, right?
Yeah, there you go.
So we didn't know how long we were going to be closed, and the building I moved into was, I think they labeled it as in poor condition. So I got rid of the raccoons. That was fun. I argued who was going to do
They're
that.
fine mammals.
Did you
I don't
shoot them,
know.
or what was how do you get rid of them? Can we even talk about that because the mayor's here?
No, they don't shoot them.
I didn't shoot them. I just made a lot of noise and cleaned up a bunch of poop and
That'll do it.
closed up some holes.
That's how I got rid of 2 teenage boys at one time out of my house. Same concept.
There's 8.
So all the thrivers listening out
Yeah.
there, that are not from Oklahoma,
Right.
are wondering, why did she name it 1907?
Yeah, why'd you name it that?
Why'd you name it
Tell us that.
Tell us.
So I wanted an Oklahoma name, and 1907, we became a state November 16th,
Oh, there we
1907.
go. There
so.
we go.
Now, I have audio clips, and Bree, you can refute this.
This
but,
from raccoons?
Well, this is when you go to the 1907 store, you can buy various things. Can you buy books there?
Yes.
Okay, I think, and I might have gone to another store, but I asked Luke.
Yeah.
I said, Luke, go ahead, go to the store,
Yeah.
come back and get
Yeah.
me a book so that I can read the,
Sure.
the pro
Sure.
tips
Sure.
with the listeners. And one of the books that Luke brought to me, now again, I have no proof that this he did go to the store. It's called 8 Ways.
He
to,
can bring like a receipt
8
or
ways,
anything?
8 tips to kill raccoons, while staying within the city regulations established by your local mayor.
Do they have like a?
It's a very complicated book.
Are they
And I'm gonna-
protected? I mean, is there like a?
Well,
you can kill raccoons whenever you want, or is it like a
I'm-
season for?
I'm going to
raccoons?
queue up one of the tips, and then
I don't
Bree
know.
can tell me whether, in fact, this is an actual book title that she carries in her store.
Okay.
So here we go. Let me queue up. This is one of the tips. This is the audio version of the book.
audio
audio version of the book. Here we
Okay.
go.
Probably my best tip is tip number 8. Always keep bags of your own poop. Collect it throughout your stay and just have it ready.
Bree,
have it
is that a
ready.
book that you can purchase in 1907?
You know, I'm all out of that one. But
Oh, it's already sold out.
I didn't kill the raccoons. I just kindly asked. I evicted them.
You encourage them to find housing in other facilities.
Yes.
Can I
Oh.
ask you this? If you were in a city right now that wasn't open, I want to ask you this real quick. Mayor Thurmond, are there cities in Oklahoma right now that are on a more of a shutdown than we are in?
I think there probably is. I'm not sure. I know the governor has said everything is open, so hopefully in Oklahoma everything is open. But
When are we flying into the final open, the all open? Because we had, again, that Trump rally we had at the Trump rally. I know the entire lower bowl of that thing was full. There was no masking going on, no social distancing. And if there was very few people. It was very packed. It was very busy. When do we get into the super phase, the warp speed phase, the phase where we can go to movie theaters and that kind of thing?
Well, I think June 15th was supposed to be the day that we got into the 4th phase, the last phase.
Really?
Now, movie theaters, I understand some of them are opening in July 1st.
July 1st. Okay. So, Bree, there's a lot of listeners, though, who are in Oregon. I met a guy who's in Oregon this past weekend where they're on total shutdown.
Yes.
Maine, total shutdown. Washington, Seattle, total shutdown. How would it be to run a business for you if you were in a city where you had to be shut down? I mean, what would be going on in your life if you were forced to be shut down?
I would cry and drink a lot. Just being honest. When we were shut down, I would go down Main Street because we were moving, and just the overwhelming emptiness was devastating.
It's depressing.
It was
wasn't
super depressing,
Yeah.
and was fortunate enough to have something to do, but at some point you got to open back up and make money, or we're all going to shut down and close. Because
Amen to that, sister.
That's. I mean, it sounds stupid, but let me give you another example. I always tell people, the shutdown. You tell people, if your business is shut down. Again, the question from the Channel 8 guy was, he says, how do you think the shutdown will impact your business? That was the question.
Yeah, just stupid.
And I said, well, if we're shut down, we won't be open. I mean, that was my. Another way to look at this, another analogy is if we lay on the train tracks, the Broken Arrow train tracks. Mayor Craig, do we have Broken Arrow train tracks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How often do the trains come by on the tracks in downtown
Just
Broken Arrow?
A couple times a day.
If I laid on the tracks, would I eventually get run over?
Yes, you would.
That's what I see with this economy. People are like, we need to just shut down and just to see. Z, do you agree with my analogy there? I mean, if you lay on the railroad tracks, eventually you're going to get hit. I mean, if we shut down the economy for too long, eventually it's too long. I mean,
Well, I'm going to say a couple things. One, I truly respect the fact that Mayor Craig makes zero amount of money for being the mayor of Broken Arrow.
$0.
That is the high point about being a civil servant and being a servant of the people.
Agreed.
And I really do that. Agree that is awesome. It's amazing that everybody out there that's making the rules for this, they're all on a government. None of them have missed a paycheck.
amen.
And they've shut everybody else down. All the single moms, single dads.
while judging you for
People-
putting profits over people, they shut you down.
They shut you down, and none of them went without a paycheck. Let's think about that for a moment. So it's easy. I know some friends of mine, acquaintances of mine, that had jobs that, they didn't miss a beat. They got their paycheck and they're like, hey, I had a 2-month vacation. I got to hang out in my pajamas every day. It was awesome, man. It was awesome.
And when you're shut down as a business owner, your expenses don't stop. Your lease doesn't stop.
Correct.
All your expenses
Utilities don't stop.
Your advertisement obligations don't stop.
Don't stop unless you lay off all your employees. You still have payroll.
I know one guy, true story, not a positive story, but he's a guy in Tulsa, pretty prominent guy, who had a big advertisement agreement going, and his business was deemed to be non-essential, but he had to keep running ads to nowhere. And so when you would turn on channel 2, 6, 8, whatever, you'd see his commercials promoting a service that you couldn't go to.
Right.
A location you couldn't go to.
Because they committed to it, and they're going to now hold his feet to the fire.
Right.
Because they need their money.
Yep.
Right. They need their money coming in because they've got payroll, because they have expenses that they have to do. And so that's what's frustrating, is when you have people that aren't in the same position you are telling you what to do, and they're not living your life. And we're out here going, hey, listen, we have the First Amendment right for peacefully assembling. Why can people assemble over here and not assemble over here? Who is deciding these? You can go to church if you're going to burn it, but you can't go to church if you're going to worship in it. This world is turned upside down crazy. And as a sane person who's a business owner that's saying, hey, listen, we all take risk in life. We do. Every time you get in your car and drive somewhere, it's a risk. If we said, listen, if every life mattered, who are you to say one life doesn't matter? Well, then the first person that gets killed in a car accident, we should get rid of cars. It's that stupid. You're going, well, wait a second. Is that right? If cars are killers, then why are we allowing cars on the streets? I mean, people, get your head wrapped around it. Become a little bit. Okay, I got on a soapbox there for half a minute. But my point is that we all take risk. This is a virus, and we're going to have viruses every year for the rest of our lives. I don't want that to shock anybody.
Mayor Craig,
it's going to happen.
Tobacco kills 8 million people per year. Are you going to ban it?
No, we're not going to ban tobacco.
How much does alcohol kill through driving and alcoholism?
I don't have a hard stat. I can't say auto accidents. Let me get this because I want to just get it. Auto accidents in 2019, the deaths went down a little bit, a 2% decline here. So it looks like we had 38,800 people died in car wrecks. Do
those? My question is, do those lives not matter?
Are we going to ban those?
So let's just start walking everywhere.
We're going to ban cars?
No, we're not.
Well,
Okay.
that's my point, folks. Get your head wrapped around. Get out of fear and understand that this is a virulent flu. I get it. It's a flu bug. It's coming around. They come around every year. This one's a little bit more dangerous than others in the sense that it makes people sick than maybe last year's flu. But I've been sick by the flu before. Everybody listening to this, you've probably had a flu bug. You probably had a form of coronavirus in your life. Most people, when they die, will test that they've had one. These are all facts. You can fact check me on it. But my point is that we don't need to spend trillions of dollars and shut down our economy and have all the damage that we've done through this.
Mayor Craig's great. He's on our team. He's on our team.
I love it.
And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tee it up here for Bree. You can ask Mayor Craig anything you want to ask.
Yeah,
you're a citizen.
Fire
You're
away.
a business owner. You're a wonderful woman here in the Broken Arrow area. And then I want to give Luke the same opportunity because a lot of our listeners don't get a chance to have access directly to Mayor Craig on a daily basis. So, Bree, what question or questions would you have for Mayor Craig Thurmond about maybe the future of Broken Arrow or about running a business in Broken Arrow or his policies?
What's next? Yeah.
Alrighty. Sorry, Mayor Craig. When we run into problems like this that are out of our control, is there a plan that we can bypass some of the unnecessary inconveniences that are ruining people's lives, like me and my fellow business owners?
Such as, what are you wanting to bypass?
I have one. For Elephant in the Room, this is an example. Under the current guidelines that were rolled out by the cosmetology department. This was not rolled out by Mayor Craig Thurmond, but this is the cosmetology board, I believe. With the cosmetology board, their guidelines currently state that we can't have more than 10 people in there getting their hair cut at one time. Well, to be profitable, we really need to have more than 10 people because you have 5 stylists cutting hair and 5 people getting their hair cut. That's a total of 10.
Right.
So we're following the guidelines right now because we don't want to get shut down permanently, but we cannot be profitable. I mean, it is not actually possible mathematically for our barber shop currently to be profitable. But I believe in soon it will be. And you said it looks like we're opening without restrictions. When, sir? Like
June 15th, we were supposed to, is what I understand.
So
That
again,
we're
right now the
supposed to go to
cosmetology board, I guess, is separate from the
yes.
state, maybe. So we're
Yes.
anyway. I think that's what you were talking about. That's a restriction that I'm having to adhere to. That it's causing it to be it's impossible to be profitable.
The only restrictions that are out there now are, like you said, the cosmetology board or
Yeah.
the restaurant associations put out restrictions. We, on April 24th, we did away with our the municipal proclamation that said that we had to shut down. So we followed the state guidelines starting on April 24th. So any regulations out there right now is a regulation that the state has made. But supposedly June 15th, they were lifting all regulations. We're even allowed, as of June 15th, to start going back into nursing homes based on the nursing home regulations. But there should not be anything that would hold you up unless it is like the cosmetology board, and I'm not sure why they're not.
And that might be something where maybe they have lifted the restrictions and maybe I don't know about it right now. Maybe it changed this morning. Maybe it changed yesterday. But that last time I checked, which I believe was last Friday, it was we still had to operate with those restrictions. But does that answer your question, Bree? Is that helpful? Or did you maybe have a different angle you were trying to take that?
That helps. I know we're required to do whatever the governor, deems necessary. And I appreciate that, you respected that we're Broken Arrow and not Tulsa and not Oklahoma City. But there was still, okay, hey, we can open now, but it didn't go right back to normal. And it's still not back to normal because
Still a lot of fear.
right, there's
Still a lot
fear
of
and
fear.
oh, are we going to get sued if, we don't have social distancing and masks and all that crap that I think is a personal issue for a business owner and shouldn't be something I'm worried about the liability of being open.
I did have an encouraging note for you. I attended the President Trump rally on Saturday. It was. And I had a media pass that was given to me from the White House, which was a big honor. I mean, that was probably the biggest honor of my lifetime to be asked if I want to go cover the Trump rally. That was amazing. So I'm in the press row, and I can just tell you, all of the press, with an exception of maybe 5 or 10% of the press, all wore masks, all of them. And they were social distancing, and the ones that didn't were like One American News, Fox News, that kind of thing. But then as you looked out over the audience, virtually nobody was socially distancing. And no one was scared. People were handshaking. People were hugging each other. People were high-fiving. There's a great energy in the building. So I think the more and more people, as they see the cases go up, but the deaths not go up as well, I think more and more people are becoming less scared. But I think I think, and again, I could be wrong, and Craig, I'd love to get your take on this, but I feel like we all know somebody who has a love interest who's an idiot. We all know somebody who brings home their boyfriend or their girlfriend for the holidays. We all know this person, and they introduce you to them, and you know they're an idiot. But they can't see it because they're too close. And so you watch them marry Mr. Wrong or Mrs. Wrong, and you see it, and they kind of get locked in to this was a good decision. No matter how bad the decision turns out to be, they kind of are locked into it for a while. And then eventually they come back and say, you were right. But I think we have a lot of people emotionally now invested because they have 4,000 Facebook posts or 200 Facebook posts or 100 Instagram posts that are shaming people for being open. Mm-hmm. That's what I've seen. Do you agree with my observation there,
I
Brother
agree with
Craig?
that, and when we first opened, we got a lot of emails and posts that were saying that we were doing the wrong thing, that we should follow Tulsa, or we should follow someone else, and stay close, that we were going to kill a lot of people, and it really hasn't happened, which we're very fortunate that it hasn't happened. But
Yep.
they definitely there was definitely a lot of fear out there. I do think on Bree's question though that the Broken Arrow Chamber actually can help people with liability, the liability issues of businesses opening, and so I mean that's one thing is to reach out to the chamber and talk to them about that. And going back to the earlier question, you did ask me if any Broken Arrow mayors were going to, or any Oklahoma mayors wanted to defund the police. And actually last Tuesday, Norman, Oklahoma had an 11.5-hour council meeting, and they voted to defund the police.
Norman?
Norman, Oklahoma. Yes.
Wow.
So so we do have one city in our state that has voted to defund the police department.
One.
Yes.
I do want the listeners to know this. I'm going to cue up the audio because I think anytime you said somebody was to anytime you make an accusation or a claim or a statement, I think it's very important that you back it with a fact. Otherwise, it is just that. It is just a speculation. It is just a statement. So, Andrew, I'm going to go to my Facebook, and if you can kind of zoom in here. Recently, one of the co-founders of Black Lives Matter decided to do an interview. And during the interview, she said this. So this is one of the co-founders of Black Lives Matter. This is her interview. Let me cue it up here. And I'm going to cue it up. I think I'm muted somehow. How did I mute myself? Oh, there we go. Oh, that's how technology works.
I also think that
this is Patrice Coolers, the co-founder of Black Lives Matter, speaking about Black Lives Matter.
I also think that it might I think of a lot of things. The first thing I think is that we actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists.
So she says that she is, in fact, a trained Marxist. Now, if you look up the word Marxist, I'm just going to pull that up here because this is Marxism. You know, the Marxist, you would be in favor of Marxism. And this is the political and economic theory of Karl Marx, which basically is the foundation of communism, where you confiscate individual property, and that's what they're in favor of. So I want to make sure we get this. The term Black Lives Matter has been hijacked by a group of Marxist people. So that is we live in a weird world, but I appreciate knowing your values there, Mayor Craig, because I feel like I can trust what's up is up and what's down is down with you. I feel like your moral compass doesn't change moment by moment.
No.
What's going on in Norman?
I'm not sure. I mean, they had an 11.5-hour council meeting, and they voted to defund the police and have social workers show up when you call the police in certain instances. So I don't know how that's going to play out, but it's not going to be good. And going back to the Marxism issue, I'm sure that Luke and Brett, neither one of them want their property confiscated. So we think that a capitalist society is how we need to function in our
You're
community.
a Marine, aren't you, sir?
Yes.
And you fought in Vietnam, am I correct?
I was in the Marine Corps during Vietnam.
You were in the Marine Corps, but you did not fight?
Did not fight, no.
For those out there who are not aware of what's going on, if you were to go over to China, and then you were to hop on over to South Korea, in China you would see a government-controlled or group of people who don't have the right to peaceably gather where they want. They can't vote for what they want. They can't do what they want. They're told what to do. That's China.
Yes.
If you go to South Korea, it's free. If you go to North Korea, it is controlled by the government. It's communist. I mean, there's a lot of war, a lot of fighting that happened in Korea and Vietnam over individual freedoms and liberties. And last time I checked, America's always gone to war to fight against communism. Am I correct, sir?
We have.
Against Marxism.
Right. We have until this point. Now we're starting to see our country certain people wanting us to be socialist or communist, and I don't support that at all.
Unbelievable. Luke, you can ask Mayor Craig Thurmond anything you want to ask. You could make a point. There's just so many listeners out there that don't get a chance to interact with their local mayor like this. I would say most people never get this opportunity to ask anything they want or to be able to be in the same room with the man. And I'd like for you to be able to ask Mayor Craig anything you want to ask him or make a comment because you're a business owner and not a political activist, and I think that means a lot. So what do you got?
So first, I just want to say thank you for taking a stand for our city and allowing for us to open and get
Amen.
back to business. In my personal business, we were probably a week and a half to maybe 2 weeks from being terminal. I mean, we would not have been able to recover, period, if we were not able to open when we did. The question that I have is, in our Rose District, because I just haven't had the time to figure this out, what businesses were casualties of the shutdown, if you know?
Or have there been any businesses,
like?
I guess? Maybe that's the
That's a
question that
better
wouldn't get you in trouble. Have there been any businesses that you know of that are not coming back due to the shutdown?
I know of some businesses that aren't coming back, but not in the Rose District at this time. Some people shut down before, but we do have some other businesses going in some of those businesses. But there's some restaurants and some other businesses in our community that let the community know that they would not come back.
Yeah. That's really tough. You know, for myself, I'm 13 years into business. And to think that literally in about a 2 to 3 month period of time, all of that hard work, dedication, and investment would have literally disappeared. So again, I really appreciate your stance and supporting our community.
And I think that you're not the only person in that position. That
Absolutely.
we had a lot of businesses that were really close, and we really had to open back up. And I do want to thank the Broken Arrow citizens really supported these businesses and supported our community, and it really made a difference.
Now, my thing that I'm working on, and this is what I've been doing, and Mayor Craig, you can tell me if I need to get my act together. My wife and I, we've got this thing we've been doing. We just will go into the businesses. It's like Andolini's as an example, and I'm just gonna buy. I'm in a spot where I can, so I've just been trying to buy stuff I don't necessarily need. But just trying to get the momentum going. I've been having some friends. Hey, let's meet up at Andolini's. Let's do that thing. Trying to kind of get some momentum going there. Is that something we can all do out there for listening today? I mean, 'cause I feel like there's a few other guys I've run into who are doing that. I went to Atwood's the other day and just tried to get some other people to go with me to buy crap we don't necessarily need. Would you encourage all the listeners to do that kind of thing?
I think that's really important. I know Bree would love to have people come into her shop and buy things. And you'll find things in there you do need. But I think also Luke's the same way. People are need to join up at the gym. I know I need to join a gym, but I think that we need to get out and support our businesses, and they're struggling. They're your neighbors or your friends, and they're all struggling, and it's really important that we get out and support our business. And
the website's there. To learn more about the Hub Gym, go to thehubgym.com. It's thehubgym.com. And to learn more about 1907, go to 1907ok.com. That's 1907ok.com. Mayor Craig, where can folks learn more about you?
Well, I have a website and a Facebook page, and it's Re-elect Mayor Craig Thurmond. So I think that's the best place to go to learn about me and what we're doing in our community and the great things that we're trying to do in the future.
When's the next election there, sir?
Next election is April 6th of 2021.
April 26th of 2021.
April 6th.
April 6th.
Yes.
April 6th of 2021.
2021.
This just in from our home office. I'm excited that you're here, sir. Thank you so much for supporting Broken Arrow. Bree, I really appreciate you being here on today's show. Luke, I appreciate you for being here. And we like to end each and every show with a boom, so we're going to do it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom!
Boom!
Why does this still keep happening to me? I don't know whose prayer I'm breaking into, but I'm breaking into somebody's prayer saying, Lord, why do I keep going through the same things over and over again? And the Lord sent me here to tell you the problem is with your default. Until you change your default, you will always go back to being who you were before because you have never changed your mind. You change your friends, you change your address, you change your phone number, you change the songs you sing, you change everything else, but you didn't change your mind. There's nothing as powerful as a changed mind.
Boom! Nothing as powerful as a changed mind. Boom! Better get yours, cause I'ma take mine. Boom! Leave them where they got if they ain't ready. Used to have a lot of homies, now they dropping like a belly. I'm like, boom! We taking over, it's our time now. Boom! Oh, you ain't know, we about to thrive now. Big, overwhelming, optimistic, momentum, A-place. Hey, back, let me get them. Go get them then. Hurdle every obstacle, trying to do the impossible. Turned my whole life around, haters thought it was comical. Had to make some moves, didn't even seem logical. Quarterback to play, man, I had to call it audible. Drop back, stop that. Rearrange or switch it up. Only got one life to live, it's best that you go live it up. Failure ain't an option, ain't no way that I can give it up. Hey, knowledge, gon' pick it up. Nothing like your posse, look poppy, you cannot top me. They watch me and try to copy like Rocky, you cannot stop me. Hungrier than ever, we grinding all through the weather. We shining because we better get with us, we bout our cheddar. Once I change my mind, dog, trust me, ain't no going back. Coming for that top spot, I'm feeling like they owe me that. Time for us to level up, I feel like we've been holding back. Throw your hands up, say it with me if you're going that. Boom! Nothing is powerful as a change mind. Boom! Better get yours, cause I'ma take mine. Boom! Leave them where they got if they ain't ready. Used to have a lot of homies, now they dropping like a belly. I'm like, boom! We taking over, it's our time now. Boom! Oh, you ain't know, we about to thrive now. Big, overwhelming, optimistic, momentum, A-place. Hey, back, let me get them. Yeah. Came a long way from where I used to be. Only to see life the way I used to see it. Old habits die hard, but you gotta leave them. If they ain't riding like a Harley, then you don't need them. You're cheering and you're clapping, I don't need that. Fake friends treat them like Fat Joe, make them lean back. Excitement, no vision, makes you blind, I can see that. Anything I think up in my mind, I can achieve that. I can make a million if I want to. I'ma keep it real cause I want to. Other women try to holler, girl, I want you. And disrespecting wifey's what I won't do. Gon' do your dance, gon' do your dance. If you really wanna change, gotta have a plan. Even when they sit down, I'ma take a stand. Throw your hands up, say it with me if you know it, man.
Beliefs become your thoughts become your actions. So be intentional about where your passion is focused. There's no hocus pocus. We only live once, man, and you know this. You can't press the rewind, but you can make a beeline to the next level like you're headed for the tree line. I was born in Minnesota, moved to Oklahoma, incorporated both into my rhymes. Now it's time to show ya how a former stuttering student can turn out the raps with a lyrical miracle flow in the cash to match. Yeah, I'm important, a Minnesota refugee, but I'm consistent as can be as I rap on hip-hop beats, bringing rappers and tax. Even though that I'm wise, I can play that funky music, but I ain't vanilla ice. Here we go, here we go, here we go, full steam. 3, 2, 1, dynamite on the scene.
Boom! Nothing is powerful as I change mine. Boom! Better get yours, cause I'ma take mine. Boom! Leave them where they got if they ain't ready. Used to have a lot of homies, now they dropping like a fatty. I'm like, boom! We taking over, it's our time now. Boom! Oh, you ain't know, we about to thrive now. Big, overwhelming, optimistic, momentum. Boom!
And the Lord sent me here to tell you the problem is with your default. Until you change your default, you will always go back to being who you were before because you have never changed your mind. You change your friends, you change your address, you change your phone number, you change the songs you sing, you changed everything else, but you didn't change your mind. There is nothing as powerful as a changed mind.
Hear the rest of T.D. Jakes' incredible, life-changing, and mind-altering sermon, Nothing as Powerful as a Changed Mind Today, by looking up T.D. Jakes on YouTube and typing in Nothing as Powerful as a Changed Mind.
You're getting ready to flow. I feel the glory.
That is a lyrical miracle rap